G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am anxiously awaiting the release of Farming Simulator 22's Platinum Edition, which won't be out for a couple more days. And I haven't really wanted to start a new project in Farming Simulator because I didn't want to abandon it a week and a half later. I don't like leaving maps undone because, well, I'm going to be playing Silver Run Forest the moment it's released to the public. In the meantime, I've spent some of my off time playing Construction Simulator. And as you can probably see from the last video I did a couple of weeks ago, my company has grown quite a lot. And the 3 million you see in credits isn't really depictive of it because I have another 3 or 4 million in a separate bank account, and as you can see from my fleet, I've pretty much got a full fleet of vehicles now, so several $1 million worth of equipment there. In fact, I probably have more equipment than I need, partly because I've been trying it out. Different equipment actually works different ways. And I'm going to go into a separate video about equipment itself. But in this video, I thought I would share my top 5 money-making tips that have made me money quickly. Now, some of these are kind of obvious, and I know some people may have already put them on other YouTube channels. I don't know. I haven't had time to keep up with what other people are doing recently. But I'm really hoping that these tips will help you out and help you grow your company quickly. I'm at the point where I really don't need to rent anything right now, and I can take on any construction project. Along the way, I've made several different assumptions about how to make money, and some of them turned out to be true, and some of them turned out to be false, and I had to rethink the way I was doing things. Now, I initially was doing everything on hard mode. Seems logical, right? Hard mode is the one that pays you the most amount of money. However, if I could do 2 jobs that pay 1.5 to 2 times as much money in the same amount of time as I can do a job on hard mode, I'm not really maximizing my efficiency. So let's take a look at job length and difficulty. So let's take a look at this. It is one of the campaign projects, and we have to build a carousel in Central Heights. I have it set right now to job scope medium, and it's going to pay me just over 400,000 credits. If I set it to high, it's only going to pay me 20,000, 20,000 extra credits. And as you can see, it added quite a few steps. So I haven't tried this one yet. I'm going to try it, but I'm speculating this is at least an hour-long project to do, especially as it is part of the campaign. So what I would rather do is I would rather do this on medium. I'm going to lose out on 20,000 credits, not a big deal, but I can pick up some easy money just doing regular contracts. I can pick up 27,000, which is pretty much the difference between the two, by doing the pipe work. It's a mini job, and it's going to take me 10 minutes, so a lot less time than it would take to do the carousel job on difficult. Now, to further emphasize my theory on that, everything just refreshed. I did this project here, the road in the village, so it's a resurfacing project. When I did it, I got some sort of bonus too, and I don't know if it's because I did it within a certain amount of time. But it's 256,000 credits, and I was able to do it in, I timed timed it, I was able to do it in 18 minutes, which was pretty good. The next one I did, and I don't know if it's available, is, no, it's not available right now. But I did the garage add-on, which was only an $80,000 project, and it still took me just under half an hour. It took me about 28 minutes. Now, you would have thought, because it's a simple project, it takes less time, it would have paid me more money. And the same thing with the pool. I did the pool contract. I guess see if I can refresh and get it to appear. Nope. Doesn't look like it. But that one, I forget what that was worth. $150,000, $160,000. And it took me 40 minutes to do. Partly because of the excavating. It's a little bit more complicated. But time-wise, it really wasn't worth that much. Like I said, I'd have been much better off doing, and it's gone, the road resurfacing for the village at $276,000. Sorry, $236,000 in 20 minutes. So my return on investment for my time would be a lot better that way. So don't just assume by turning up the difficulty level, all of a sudden you're going to be raking in massive amounts of money. Like I said, you are going to be better off in several cases, most cases, leaving it on medium, and then the time you save doing an extra job. This one here, the parking lot downtown, I haven't done this parking lot yet, but I've done several other parking lots, and just like road resurfacing, they are not that complicated. They do have a couple of extra steps, so I'm guessing they're going to go from 20 minutes to about 40, 45. Now, if I can make 620,000 credits in about 40-45 minutes, time investment wise, I might as well leave this on medium difficulty, and I might as well leave my campaign on medium difficulty. I'll get twice as much done in the amount of playtime I have, and I will make a ton more money. So, just to reiterate, changing the difficulty does increase the amount of money, but proportionally to the amount of time it takes, is it worth it? If you're in no rush to get things done, or you're in I want to finish up the American campaign, so I don't want to spend forever doing it. Plus, I'm trying to balance my time with Farming Simulator. But if that's not the case and you don't care, then by all means, take the extra time and do it on hard difficulty. Okay, that being said, the next tip, and again, this is one a lot of people, well, I won't say a lot of people have talked about, that I have seen some people talk about, is when you are doing these projects. Topsoil removal. It's pretty much a staple of most missions, except road paving and stuff like that. Collect your topsoil and sell it. A decent dump truck full of topsoil will bring you in an extra $9,000 to $10,000, maybe $11,000, depending on how full you fill it. When I did the pool contract, I got 3 dump truck loads of topsoil out of it. It was a smaller dump truck, so I was only getting in 9. So I made 9, 18, 27,000 extra, almost 30,000 extra dollars by just selling the topsoil. Now, topsoil removal can be done a couple of different ways. You can either use a wheel loader or a dozer to do it, or even an excavator. what I recommend, I find is the easiest thing to do is, let's say we were doing this parking lot contract, and I'm going to go ahead and accept it. I'm not going to time it because obviously I'm going to be explaining as I go. So accept. But what I guess what I'm getting at is, I thought it would be easier if we actually went to the job site and had a look. Anyway, what I'm getting at is there are several ways of doing it. You can use the front end loader and you can scoop it up and put it out in a trailer. It's a little bit cumbersome because I'm not a huge fan of the front end loaders. You can use a dozer and you won't actually get to keep any much topsoil if you do it this way. But you can angle the blade so it pushes to side to side. Pushing it all the way to the end, that part's done. What I recommend doing is I recommend taking the dozer and pushing all your topsoil. So you've got a little bit of a pile there, pushing it into the middle, and then using the front end loader or an excavator to lift it into a dump truck and sell it. Again, you're probably going to get 2 to 3 dump truck loads, judging by the fact that the topsoil on this map is not very deep. But still, again, that's an extra $30,000. Some projects, you actually have to dig quite deep to remove the topsoil. Or, take the pool as an example, you actually have to dig down and excavate. Probably, I'm not very good at measuring distances in the game, but in real life you'd probably be digging down about 6 foot. So that's quite a lot of topsoil to be removed. I've done a couple of contracts where I have got, well, I end up losing count of how many truckloads of topsoil I got. But I definitely made a lot of money doing it. So topsoil removal and sale is very profitable. The only thing to be careful with and this is very situational, because sometimes when the map not the map, but the construction site resets, you have to backfill a certain area. And it will provide you a pile of topsoil to backfill with. However, there are other times where you actually have to deliver the topsoil from the quarry and backfill it that way. So check the job board. Materials delivery, paving stone, topsoil removal, construction. So no, this does not require any backfilling. So I don't need to worry about a truckload of topsoil. But if I did have to backfill and I had to supply the topsoil, what I would do, quite simply, is I would just set aside one of my dump trucks full of topsoil until the time came to backfill. Then I would back it in and dump it. I didn't make any money from selling the topsoil, but I also didn't have to pay to buy the topsoil. So that's a quick little workaround depending on the backfilling job. And it will tell you in the job description whether or not you need to get the topsoil from the gravel pit or not. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 that I have for you is get to know your vehicles. I have, in terms of dozers, I got the Case dozer early on, and I really like it. But it's not got the biggest blade. The two that have the biggest blades are this one the lever, and the cat. The only difference between this one and the cat is this one you can angle the blade. The cat stays straight and it just angles up and down. The cat will push a lot of dirt, but once the area in front of the blade gets full, the spillover will go left and right. So you will have to back up and you will have to go over an area again just to clean up the topsoil that got pushed to either the left or the right. Think of it like snow removal. If you live in part of the world where you do snow removal, there's a reason snow plows angle their blades, is so that everything gets pushed to the left or to the right, so they don't have to keep going back over and doing the same area. So definitely get to know your equipment and its capacities. Like I said, I had the cat. I love the cat in terms of its size, but for jobs like this, it really wasn't the best in the world. And again, I am going to do a separate video on vehicles, because there's a lot you need to know about vehicles. The same with excavators. Different excavators have different capacities. Some will only dig to a certain depth, and you'll get stuck. Secondly, size matters. I hate to say it, ladies. The quicker you can do the job, the quicker you can move on to your next project. So that's the next tip. Tip number 4, leftover goods. Well, say you just did a paving contract, and let me go to my asphalt dumper, because I did just do, this morning, I did do a contract. So I parked this back here. It's still got that 2/3 of the asphalt in it, and the paving machine that did the paving still has, just under half left in it. So I fast traveled these back to my home base. I did not put them into storage. The moment you put them into storage for repair or anything like that, it automatically sells what's in them. And it's, let's take a look. Empty. So I'm going to get $3,000, almost $4,000 for 2/3 of a load of asphalt that I paid $12,000 for. That's not a really good return on investment. So don't put your vehicle into storage. And secondly, you can, if you need to, you can either refuel at home base just by driving into one of these areas. Back up. Whoa, Bessie. There we go. I just hit the G key and it refuels. It refuels at the same price as if you put it into storage, because you are doing it at your home base. So you still get the benefits of your discount for your company, but you don't have to sell off your product at a loss, essentially. The same with, and the same applies definitely to, like I said, to other products. Let's take a quick run over and we'll look at my, if I can find it, parked in here somewhere, my gravel truck. I did the house renovation and I needed a load of gravel. Well, I ended up with half a truckload of gravel after spreading it and compacting it. Again, The truck, as you can see, probably needs a little bit of a repair and some fuel at some point. I'm in no rush. But I have over half a truckload of gravel. Why am I going to sell that as a loss just so I can put my vehicle into storage? I am not. So that is my next tip for you. Waste not, want not is what I believe the old expression goes. And you know, you don't think about it too much. You go, yeah, I'm just going to empty and then fill it. And, well, a loss of $4,000 or $5,000 here and there isn't much. But when you do start doing 10 jobs, it adds up. And over time, think about all the money you're going to lose doing all the campaigns and the side jobs. It's definitely worth hanging on to. Tip number 5. And I know it's kind of fun to drive, but unless you're in the mood to drive, use quick travel. And the more you use quick travel, the more of a discount you get for using it. So we're up here at this gas station. I'm fully repaired. And if I want to quick travel to this gas station, it's going to cost me 56 credits. Now, I don't have a full load, so it is a little bit cheaper because you are charged by the vehicle and the weight the vehicle is carrying. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive down to that other gas station, and then we are going to repair the vehicle, and we're going to see how much more it costs me than the 52 credits. So let me drive down there and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so we just pulled in, and as you can see, I am at the other gas station. Don't know where it's... Well, 53 credits is what it wants now. It was 52 before for fast travel. So let's see what the repair is. Hopefully we can see this on the screen fairly well. So it's 15 for the fuel and 260 credits for the repair. That's quite a difference in cost. So yeah, 52 versus just the repair alone of $260 makes it worthwhile. And I do have my skill points invested into wear efficient driving. So I take less damage when I drive than I would when I was first starting out. Now, that's not to say you might not want to drive, because there is an achievement you get. I think it's for driving 6,000 kilometers. I haven't got it yet. I'm nowhere even close. But you will get that achievement if you drive. So I'm going to return this vehicle. And while I do that... Oh, by the way, quick travel, in case I didn't mention it earlier, if you want to go to your company premises, either up at the top of the map or down at the bottom of the map to get across the map quickly, it's free. It doesn't cost you a penny to quick travel to your company premises. Next recommendation I have for you is no loans. Don't take out a loan. If you need a piece of equipment, and let's go to the vehicle shop and we'll see what we can find as an example. Like I said, I have done a lot of either building, or I have done a lot of road contracts. So let's say I'm at the point now where I need a decent asphalt compactor. It's $79,000. Okay, that's a bad example, because say I need a soil compactor for $90,000. I already have, using my example, I already have all my asphalting equipment. but I want this cat soil compactor for 90,000 because I don't own one of those yet. So let me pick up a job that is going to pay at least, and most of them do. Well, that's going to pay 55, and you can always refresh the jobs. But I'm going to use the pool job as an example, or even the small parking lot here. 172,000. It's not going to take very long. Trust me, I've done the small parking lot. It's a quick job. Even though it says 6 stages, it's quick. Do that job, and then I can afford to buy it. I'm not taking out a loan. I'm not spending 2% a day on my loan. So just like Farming Simulator, I'm trying to think, Train Simulator doesn't matter because money is not involved, but just like Farming Simulator, try and avoid loans if you have to. Rent, as long as you rent for the minimum amount of time you need, so rolling that parking lot, it's not going to take very long. Return the equipment, and you're probably looking at $600-700 versus your interest payment for taking out a loan. Like I said, we're now into bonus tips. Make sure you invest into the right skills is my second to last tip. Most of these skills, it's not a huge deal in what order you do them. The one I recommend, though, that you put all your points into first is good business. Trying to speak English today and I'm not having much luck. Good business sense. Try saying that 10 times fast. You definitely make more money per project by having good business sense. And it will, again, probably more than make up for the difference between doing the mission on hard and doing it on medium and saving some time. Bucket capacity, that's a good one, especially since pretty much every job requires some sort of excavation. And then crane speed. Again, most jobs require some sort of crane work to be done. As far as the choice between concrete viscosity, bulk material, and asphalt capacity, I would probably go with concrete viscosity because it allows you to fill in an area quicker. Your concrete sets better, and you actually end up saving money on concrete. Bulk material, I mean, these two are just how much stuff you can carry on a particular load. But those are, my personal choice. Those were the skill points I went for first. Tried to make money, tried to increase my capacity, and then I started to invest. As you can see, I've still got a couple I need to finish investing in before. These you don't have much of a choice in. Milestones, they'll just come as the company grows. All right, last but not least is multiplayer. And let me just gather my thoughts on this one. Okay, the way Astragon or the development company set up multiplayer, in my opinion, is wrong. And I say that because I finally figured out the formula, or found out the formula they use to pay people in multiplayer. If you've ever tried to host a multiplayer game, especially now the game's been out for a little while, you'll find not a lot of people want to join. But if you go to the multiplayer list, there's a whole bunch of people hosting. Well, let me explain the first part first. Multiplayer does indeed speed up the amount of time it takes to do a project. If you have 4 people, you can do at least 2 projects at the same time. and be done quickly. The problem is the way you get paid in multiplayer. The host, or the person who owns the company that's hosting the multiplayer game, makes 50% of the profit. The remaining profit from each job is then split between assuming you had a 4-player game, is then split between the other 3 people. That is why nobody wants to join multiplayer games, but everybody wants to host them, is because you make a ton more money hosting than you do playing. Now, obviously, I tend to, when I do multiplayer, I tend to look for games that has one person. I'll join that game, and then they get 50% of the profits for being the host. Since there's only one other person, I get the remaining 50%. Whereas if it had been 2 people with me, I would get 25%, they would get 25%, and the host would still get their 50%. So be careful hosting multiplayer. When I play multiplayer and I host it, I tend to give a little bit of an extra cash bonus to people, especially if they're participating and playing well. So, anyway, those are my top tips for making money in Construction Simulator. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope it helps you make money and grow your farm, but grow your company quickly, and that way you'll be able to blast through the campaigns. I'm really enjoying the storyline. If you did find this video useful, give it a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next one where I talk about vehicles. It's going to be a shorter video, but understanding vehicles is very important. Thanks for watching. Take care, Jay.